Hello, hello. It is time to talk about hydration, and I am going to peek at my notes in this corner in case you wonder what I'm doing. You will have a PDF that you can download and follow along with if you like, but hydration is a very, very important subject that really doesn't get enough attention. So we're going to talk about hydration. One, just hydration in general, and two, hydration because I'm wanting you to be active, you're wanting to be active, and we want the body to work as well as possible. So definition, hydration is the process of causing something to absorb water, okay? I'm going to give you a list here of reasons why we need to hydrate with fluids, okay? It regulates our body temperature, it transports nutrients, it transports oxygen, it allows cells to move freely and fight off illness. I've seen that in a video myself, in a video of cells under a microscope. It helps regulate your metabolism, it aids in digestion, and supports joint health. It also helps control appetite. Now, all of those, we hear these lists all the time. We don't really let them soak into the brain. I want you to hear this list again. Fluids in the body regulate our body temperature, transports nutrients through the blood, transports oxygen through the blood, allows cells to move freely and fight off illness. It helps regulate your metabolism, it aids in digestion, and it supports joint health and helps control your appetite, okay? Being properly hydrated, having fluids in the body. Dehydration is the loss or removal of water from something, okay? What happens when we become dehydrated? I'm going to read this list to you. Impaired cognitive function, which means our thinking gets really foggy. Slowed metabolism, decreased physical performance, poor digestive health, imbalanced electrolytes, heart and kidney stress, skin and aging issues, weakened immune function, mood swings, and irritability. Now, I just want to tell you that I have witnessed that in person as my father was dying. He refused to drink liquids, drink water. He didn't want to. He hated it until his very last breath, and it showed. All of those things that I just read off to you, we watched them happen over a long period of time, get worse and worse and worse. Our body needs fluids, okay? I have also watched this in myself and in clients and in other people and in my children. When we become dehydrated, we don't even think that's what it might be. We just think, man, we're getting sick, or I don't know what's happening. Maybe I'm just having a bad day. But being dehydrated really, really, really affects us. So I want you to keep that in the back of your mind, especially in spring, summer, and fall. Okay, it can happen really a lot in winter too, but most of us are out moving more in the spring, summer, and fall. And simply moving can help dehydrate you because we breathe more. You get most of your dehydration from exhaling, okay? Out of the exhaling and sweating. So, and then if you drink a lot of caffeinated beverage, you're going to pee more, and that's going to dehydrate you, okay? Caffeinated beverages are dehydrants. So let's talk about the metabolism specifically, because that's what we're here for. Weight management, fat loss. I want to help you have fat loss. I want to help you not have muscle loss. So therefore, we want to make sure that we have proper hydration, okay? I'm going to talk about this list of reasons why fluid balance is important to our fat loss, muscle retention. Enzymes. Water is necessary for the function of those enzymes. Those enzymes need to move around the body to make certain things happen when we work out, to make certain things happen when we sleep, to make certain things happen when we want to make sure the right hormones are happening at the right time. Now, we all know that we have to have hormone processes. Those processes either happen, they either function all day long well or not well, okay? And there's lots of reasons why they might not do well. I can tell you that I've witnessed a lot more people are dehydrated and underfueled, and that causes a lot of hormone problems, okay? So in order for the enzymes in our body to do their job, we need to have fluid and a plenty amount of it. Fat burning, okay? Proper hydration is necessary for lipolysis. That is your body's process of burning fat. So if we want our body to reach down into fat stores and use that for fuel, you've got to have some proper hydration. It's got to. It's like the oil in the engine. It's got to be lubricated. You've got to have the fluid, okay? So anyway, being dehydrated can affect the fat. The fact that fat metabolism has to have that fluid in order to pull that fat out of the cell, okay? Simplest way to put it. Sometimes I try to get too complicated. Okay, thermogenesis. Thermogenesis is our body's temperature regulation. It's the body's energy that it burns just to be here and digest food, okay? Water helps us regulate that temperature, and we need to make sure that temperature, we don't want to get too dehydrated where that's not working and we're not burning any calories, we're just like at a standstill. We want to make sure that we're well hydrated and that it allows our body to manage its temperature properly. So especially when you're sick, that's why the doctor will say fluids. You need fluids to help everything move along, okay? Nutrient delivery. Now you can take the most cool supplement out there, the most best supplement out there, vitamins and minerals, but if your body can't deliver it to your cells, you're just not getting the nutrients. You're paying for an expensive supplement that is doing nothing for you. So remember, if you're going to take a supplement of a vitamin and mineral, let alone the fact that we want to extract the nutrients out of the food we eat, but we have got to have proper fluid retention, proper hydration in order for our body to take the nutrients out of that food, out of that pill, and put it into the cells where it's going to do its job, okay? That's nutrient delivery. Detoxification. All right, so in order for our body to get rid of all that waste inside the cells, it's going to have to get rid of the waste in there because the cells die, all right? And it has to remove that waste, and then our food, whatever parts of the food that we do not extract nutrients of and use in the body will leave the body. All of those processes, that's detoxification. It needs liquid, it needs fluid to help move it through. Nobody likes being constipated, okay? And your cells don't want to be constipated either. Energy levels. This one is amazing to me, okay? The first experience that I had of dehydration, it wasn't even with my daughters. It was with my son, my fourth child. He was about 8 years old, and all of a sudden, he just became so lethargic. This energetic little boy, I had no clue what was going on. We had gotten to a point where my kids really didn't get sick very often, and he just became real quiet and lethargic, and it was really scary. I thought something was really, really wrong with him. Now, at this time, he spent a lot of evenings with his dad, okay? So I don't know what nutrition was like. Well, I do know what nutrition was like, but I don't know what his fluid intake was like, or just I don't know what it was totally like. So long story short, when I took him to the walk-in clinic, they said he was dehydrated. They said, okay, we're going to sit here. We're going to give him an IV. We're going to hydrate him. And I'm telling you, after literally 2 minutes, he literally sat up, perked up, and looked around as if he had just been sleeping that whole time. And he started his normal little happy, kidding around, haha, laughing self. And it blew my mind what hydration could do to the human body. I just had not witnessed that before. I have since witnessed that with clients, okay? Not that they went and got hydrated by an IV, but I've witnessed them when they come in, and you can tell by looking at them, they're dehydrated. In the way they move, and they just you can tell. And so I've tried hard to recognize that in myself, because we can drink all the water we want. It does not mean we're hydrating, okay? That's an important thing that I'm going to talk about here is we talked about metabolism right there a little bit. If we are not properly hydrated, and right, I'm gonna go back here because it's gonna throw me off track here a little bit. Number one, when we're dehydrated, our physical performance goes down, okay? That is just a given. And any professional athlete is going to know exactly how to be hydrated during their endurance or their workout, like whatever their athletic performance is. They are going to have a regimen that they will stick to make sure that they are properly hydrated all the way through. Because if your performance drops down 2%, that could lose an entire race for you right there. So the other thing is there's a lot of studies out there that show that most Americans are walking around dehydrated and they have no idea, okay? And I've had a lot of people tell me, well, I drink a lot of water. And I'm like, that does not mean that you're hydrated. Just because you're drinking water does not mean you're hydrated. So here we are, we're going to talk about that. Matter of fact, drinking too much plain water and you're not getting enough of the sodium in your diet. Everybody that I talk to thinks I get plenty of sodium. But if you're going to be active and you start becoming more active, there's a good chance you're not getting enough sodium, okay? And in my clients' cases, they're usually not getting enough sodium. But if you're just drinking plain water and you don't have any electrolytes in there and you don't have any sodium in there, there is a good chance you are simply continuing to dehydrate yourself. When you drink really clean water, that clean water that is filtered everything out of it is going to pull minerals out of you in order to process and get the water in and out. So it's very, very important that you realize that you need to make sure you're hydrating, not just drinking water. I mean, it's great. We all go get a drink of water, okay? We get drinks of water, sips of water, whatever. But if you're drinking water purposefully to stay hydrated, make sure it's got some stuff in it. We're going to talk about that. All right. Yes, there is a condition where people can drink too much water and they can actually die from it, okay? I'm not going to go into that in great detail. You can look that up if you want, but it is true. We're going to talk about how to hydrate. All right, so electrolytes are the key for maintaining fluid balance. Electrolytes. The most important ones are, and I'm taking some of this information from Dr. Stacy Sims, which is who I learned about hydration and menopause and fueling and this sort of stuff. The most important electrolytes to consider or make sure that you have are sodium and potassium for fluid balance, and then magnesium and calcium for muscle function, which includes your intestines, okay? So that is sodium and potassium, and then calcium and magnesium, all right? So with that said, she also suggests that you use the citrate version, okay? Citrate version of the potassium and sodium. All right. When you are drinking water, you want to drink water with a small amount of sodium. Okay. So for my regular clients who are not athletes, I tell them 1/16 of a teaspoon, the teeniest, tiniest little pinch of salt in every bottle of water. When I can tell and they can tell they're dehydrated and yet they've been drinking water, that's what we do. We put a dash of salt in their water, and that usually helps. Okay. Like I said, I don't have any clients that are athletes that are going out and performing races. So working on simply adding a little salt to the water is perfect. Now I do have clients, they'll come in with a package of electrolyte and they'll make their electrolyte drink, and that's perfect. It's going to have what you need in there. But also you can make your own homemade electrolyte by putting 1/16 of a teaspoon of salt and then 1 teaspoon of maple syrup into about a 16-ounce glass of water or bottle of water, okay? It's your homemade electrolyte right there. You can't really taste anything in that. It just tastes like water. If you didn't put it in yourself, you wouldn't know it was in there, okay? So we're going to talk about a few tips on how to know how much you need, because there's no one calculation. There's no one number for any age group or anything like this. But since most people need some kind of guidance, what I usually tell them if they're kind of brand new, I say, if you're not already knowing how much water you need, drink half your body weight in ounces, okay? That's a great place to start. That's what I do. There is no specific recommendation, as we've talked about. So one of the things that you can pay attention to is if when you wake up in the morning, if your urine is a pale yellow, you're doing good. Dr. Sims says that's a good start for the day, okay? Then throughout the day, you want to make sure that you're eating watery fruits and vegetables, watermelon, green peppers, red bell peppers, yellow peppers, melons, anything and everything that is more of a watery fruit and vegetable. Eat those more. Eat those more during times when you're struggling to stay hydrated. Drinking tea, water, and low-carb electrolyte drinks are going to be very, very helpful. And then I want to talk about my biggest message is this. I would like more people to have a better idea about whether or not they are hydrated, because I just know in my heart that a lot of the times when clients come in and they're feeling sluggish and they say they've been eating plenty, and I look and they have been eating plenty, it has more to do with, I believe very, very surely, that they're a little dehydrated and they're starting to feel the effects of it, okay? A lot of people struggle and they don't like to drink water, and they think that just water is what they got to drink, but maybe they also don't really just drink a lot of liquids. But there are times of the year or times of the season when you're busier and you need to have more fluid retention, okay? But I notice when people are feeling, tired and grumpy and sluggish, and I think a lot of times that's what it is. And Dr. Sims also talks about, she says, most of the people who have a real hard time in the early afternoon, it has more to do with being dehydrated, okay? I can't say that I have noticed that. I usually, for me, it's because I need to eat. But you never know. So there's a motto, it's called hydrate today for tomorrow. In the athletic world, it's hydrate today for 2 days from now, okay? So what I like to tell my clients that are golfers, I say, you're going to golf on Friday? Make sure Wednesday you start hydrating extra, because it's going to be like 80, 90 degrees outside, okay? So that's important to remember. There are a lot of parts to your body that need this fluid, so I want you to remember, you have major organs that have to have fluid. You have cells all over the body that have to have fluid. You have intestines that need to have fluid. You have a heart that needs to stay hydrated. That heart will work harder and get more tired when it's dehydrated. It's a muscle. Your muscles cannot properly work without hydration. They cannot, and that heart is 100% pure muscle. I don't know if you know, but if you can take a heart and unroll it, it's a rectangular kind of shape piece of muscle, and it rolls up into this beautiful heart. Okay, so again, caffeinated beverages can make you a little more dehydrated, so be careful on those. Make sure you're hydrating first, then drink your caffeinated beverage. Let's see what else I might have in here. Make sure we talk about that, but I think that was it. Yes. So I'm going to leave you with hydrate today for tomorrow, okay? So if you know it's going to be warm out tomorrow, you should have been hydrating already today. Hydration is important. It's something that needs to be talked about a lot more. And if you make it a good habit, your body will function so much better. So I hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you soon.